Okay. Can you hear me now? Hello? Oh, thank goodness. Sheesh. Okay. Wait. All right. So I'm going to find the video, start it over. But then I'm going to have to, okay, see, I have to do this. That's the only way I can get for you to hear it. Okay. If you can't hear it, then you're just going to have to wait till I get it posted. Sorry. Call tech support. Percy over here. The dog. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now. And so yeah, you might not be able to hear everything exact, but primarily just watch what I'm doing, you know? And because you're just going to see me doing this trim 3 times. The only time it's really important kind of for you to hear is when I discover that my frog has moved back 1/4 of an inch. The frog apex has moved back 1/4 of an inch. You know, I discover some things that are surprising in these videos that surprised me. Okay, so let's see. Okay. And how do you do this? Okay, there we got infinity. And here we got this. Okay. So I'm going to need you to tell me if you can at least partially hear this here. I'm going to turn it way up and get it started here in a second. Well, crud. Crud. Well, now it's weirding out. Just a minute. What is going on? Hold on. Crap. It ain't one thing, it's another. Oh, hold on. I don't know what's going on with this stupid thing. Okay. A second. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay, there. I think I'm getting it. Just a second here. Okay, let me know if you can hear. So, the first thing I look at after I wash the feet is, what kind of growth am I getting? You know? What kind of growth am I getting? Is it even? What's going on? Like here, I notice that this is higher here. Can you see the video enough? Is more slanted out. So that makes sense. So, hello? Yeah? What I want to do first. I did. Is mark the very center. I did. I sent a link. Should be and draw myself a line
right down the center of the frog.
It was in the email.
Okay. And
okay, well.
Okay.
Just a minute. What you do
have
is
the camera on.
Then you
All
get
right.
a letter
So
from them. You should
my
get a
line.
response right away.
My line.
Telling you.
Or the true apex of my frog, just to kind of test another way to kind of center it, make sure it's in the right places right here. And as you can see, that's straight across from my apex. Now, what you didn't see me do was I had a little bit of excess here I cut off because I don't want it growing up and smashing into the sole right there and choking out the sole. So, from the apex of my frog, which is right here, forward, inch and a half right here to the wall. Okay, you line up your lines so you can make a straight line. Draw a straight line across there. Come down to your apex here. Line up your lines again. Draw a line there. Okay, so now you have your toes marked. You have the toe quarters marked. You have the center of the toe marked and the toe quarters.
Bye, dear.
Or pillars, as they're called. I'm going to come back an inch and a half to here.
Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties. Hold on.
Line that up. Draw a line.
What the heck? Oh, you stupid. Sorry, I will get this straightened out. Just 1 second. Okay, there we got it. Okay.
So there's our quarters. Here's our heels. See, these heels are forward. You know, hopefully they're going to come back more like this.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Okay, the whole foot will kind of move back. All right. Now,
rewind.
We're going to sole.
How's that?
From the apex of my frog, which is
Don't worry,
here,
I do this 3 times, so
forward, inch and a half right here to the wall. Okay, you line up your lines so you can make a straight line. Draw a straight line across there. Come down to your apex here. Line up your lines again. Draw a line there. Okay, so now you have your toes marked. You have the toe quarters marked. You have the center of the toe marked and the toe quarters, or pillars, as they're called. I'm going to come back an inch and a half to here. Line that up. Draw a line.
okay, just so you know, this is about 1 hour and 7 minutes. It's this foot
So
trimmed 3 times.
Here's our heels. Okay. See, these heels are forward. You know, hopefully they're going to come back more like this eventually. Okay, the whole foot will kind of move back. All right. Now, we're going to map the bars. Well, or we can map the heels next. Now, what you want to do is you find the buttress right here and you draw a line straight down right to where the little hairs start. Not to where the hair grows and ends. See the difference? The hair grows and there's the little end of it. You want to go under that. Right to where the little hair would start to lift because you're right at the follicle where the hair is growing out of the skin. That's where you want to go to. Okay? And you're going to put this on here and you're going to go right up to that, right up to this follicle. And then you're going to roll it down. Quit. Hold still. Pull it down to 2 inches. Right there. Let me do that again. Measure twice. right here. Okay. Again, quit. Okay. See there? Right up to where the little hairs start, right there. Then you're gonna put that on there and roll it over and mark it. Do it twice. Quit. Hold still. Hold still. Yeah, do it twice. Right inside the bar there. I'm going to measure this one again. Quit.
Now remember, some of you may not have any heel at all,
there.
so you're just growing heel.
Tried to not
in that
make
case,
it stick
you know,
line.
you just
Okay,
let
now
it grow.
Map the bars. Come up here to here, to here, the side of the frog. There. See how it came right up to my line? Right there. Quit. Oh, hold still. You got 3 other legs to stand on. Okay, right here at the side of the frog. I used to come up there, but I'm liking this better. Quit. There, now our bars are mapped. So this bar has to come clear over to here. This bar to there. See that? Okay, now you want to take a look at your frog too and make sure that your lines are here and there is no frog filling up the collateral grooves. I'm going to come straight back on that toe. Look at my nice rusty rasp. I'm going to come straight back on the toe at an angle all the way back to this line through the white line. Okay, just right through the white line to where the white line is clean. Then I would set this here and I would level these down here and here. Then I would take this to the white line. Then I would level this down. So it's like this, level, angled to the white line, level, and down to my lines. Okay. So, but I'm kind of wanting to take these pillars back to the white line just for a few days and see if they need to come down. Just a second. Okay, here we go. All the way across. White line appearing, getting clean all the way across this whole line here. Okay. Now, I can see I got a little nice sole ridge there. Okay. Keep it here. Okay, now, we're going to go flat like this, just down to almost the level of the sole. And over here. See how I've just come into my soul ridge just a little bit there? Gosh, that scared me. Take this down to my line. Never ever come back like this. Always like this.
Now, you need to know that some of this stuff I have decided on the sole has come in the last couple weeks after I did this trim. So I might handle that just a tad different. But he wasn't sore after that either. He's got a pretty good amount of sole going for him.
Touch up the frog. You have to test your frog. Give it here. See that it's not higher than your wall. See how my frog, how I run into it right there? So I'm going to have to trim that frog down right there. Now I'm going to look at my toe here, and I see that I need to take this back across over there. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to take some frog off. Boy, and I mean he's got good frogs. And he's just been through the wet season. Here, it's rained a lot in Kansas. He hasn't been trimmed. I haven't. Going to clean out the central sulcus. Quit. Okay, now, see, you noticed how I went like this? Well, that leaves a sharp edge there. You want to round that off because the anatomy is not, hasn't got sharp edges like that. So, what we're doing is forming it so it fits correctly with the what the frog aquarium is shaped like. Okay, see here, that's kind of squared off, so I'm just rounding it off there. See? Okay, now we're going to do the bars. Give it here. Come on. Okay, now the bars should not bear weight, and you want them to taper down and end right in here. So I'm going to come over here and just quit, hold still, quit bebopping around. Cripes. Please, little pussy, hold still. I'm going to take this on over to my line because this bar is kind of laid over. The bars have to be straight in accordance with the anatomy. Now, I'll have a ledge here. A lot of times I'll come in here, just kind of round this off and blend this in here because this is lower than your wall. Okay. I just don't want a lump to be there. I'm going to smooth that out. Now, what I try and do is get a clean white line all the way around here. Okay. Ho, quit. See that clean light line right there? See, going all the way around there. Now again, I want to blend this in, just kind of with that right there. And that's looking pretty good. I've got a nice flat surface here. Quit it. Okay, now all I have to do is finish off the wall. Now we want to check this. Okay, you see right there, I'm going to have to take off some of this frog right here. And again, don't want it square, do I? Squared off, so I'm going to round that out a little bit. Quit. There we go. Quit. Okay. Now he's got a lot of soul ridge here. See, it really dips right there. I also don't want a ledge there. I want to blend that in. Like that. You know, there's nothing on the foot that's square. There, now you still got a nice sole ridge there. What's in that toe right there? There we go. Okay. And the, okay, so I want to bevel this, take off all the harder tubules, and leave an even amount of the water line here in the pillars. Now, if your pillars are high and jammed, you can just take this over to the white line and let that down. There we go. Now you see how I've got white here. I'm going to round it a little bit. Take all the sharp edges off. You can really fancy that up there by feeling and rounding it off. Okay, now on my quarters, I'm going to go over to the white line itself, like this. There we go. Now we just blend all this in together. Hold still. Okay.
Now, if you'll notice, I still have a lot of wall next to the sole, supporting the sole.
Now, again, you want to feel here, and you want to finish by feel to where it's just kind of rounded. No sharp edges.
Every once in a while, I'm just going over there to
sometimes you
check
have to get your
what you guys
raspberry
are
up into here, like so. See? Finish by feel. See, I can feel that there. It's hard to get at. There, nice and smooth. Right here, a little bit.
Also, you want to make sure that when you're finishing your foot, you use the small teeth of the rasp.
Yeah, I can still feel that. All by feel.
You know, and you'll develop some of your own ways of
kind of
doing this. But the point is remembering that
come down just a little bit.
The true Mustang rule is not a big bevel.
You
got
put 3 good legs. I know it's feeding time, but still. See, and that's why I don't want this to be square either. I want this to be, you know, trimmed out and rounded.
See, now doing that is okay, because I don't want there to be a big square lump there.
There we go. Okay.
See how I just rounded it and blended it in? Okay, here's the same foot 4 days later.
Okay. This is 4 days after I have trimmed this foot. Notice that the wall has come down here, that now there's a thickness of wall in the quarter here to where I had rasped it over to the white line. So there was no weight bearing on the wall from here to here. That is your quarter. From here back is your heel. From here to there is your pillar or side of the toe. Here's the toe. Okay, now look over here on this side too. I have a full thickness of wall right here. So as well, the wall in the pillars here has come down. So what I want to do today is I'm going to leave these quarters alone, all right? And I'm going to do some work here on my toe. Look, see, I brought the toe back to the white line, okay? And now I've got a full thickness of wall here as well. Again, this has been 4 days. So this is not growth, okay? This is jammed up with wall, letting down and wall moving and moving back. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to rasp the pillars. I'm going to map the foot, and I'm going to rasp the sides of the toe here all the way from here to here back to the white line. And that is all I'm going to do today. And then I'm going to wait 4 days, and I'm going to come back and see what has happened to this foot. Okay, I feel like this toe and the frog and everything is wanting to move back. Like everything is wanting to move back. So I think it's time for my toe to move a little. And I don't know. I'm just going to check it out and see. Okay. The reason I believe my toe is wanting to move back and my dorsal wall is wanting to get steeper is because I've had a very straight dorsal wall. Let me see. From here to here. And now I'm starting to get a little dishing right here. So I'm thinking that as my heels have come up, it has shifted the foot, that the coffin bone has tipped a little here. And so my toe is wanting to come back a little steeper. So, so I'm going to go ahead and shorten it up like 1/4 of an inch. Maybe not right this time. I'm going to do my pillars first. Take them back, let it go 4 days and see what happens. And, you know, well, I haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to do, but I know I need to do a little tweaking. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and map the foot. All right. Now, again, you want to find the true apex of the frog, which I showed you how to do that from the side. There's no mark left here, but it's about here. So
I haven't really showed you that yet. But
if the coffin bone decides to get steeper, this true apex will truly move back, and you will have a false apex. So I am just going to, if I can find my knife, which here it is. So I'm just going to kind of, oh, yep, see there? I have a false apex. See, if the coffin bone does move back, it's going to put a slight dish here in your dorsal wall, okay, which is going to show you that your toe wants to come back. And you're going to find that your old apex, okay, is now covering up what is growing as sole, because the sole corium, the frog corium, everything moves back. Wow, I'm glad I did that. I piece of frog come off, and I have sole underneath it. Woohoo! Wow. See, you get to kind of know these feet, and you get to kind of guessing, and your guesses get pretty good. You get to know them, just like you get to know a person. You can guess what they're going to do. Okay, so sure enough, his frog apex has moved back about 1/4 of an inch. That means I can move his toe back a little bit too. So I think it's gonna be right about here. Okay. Now remember, we want to mark the center of the frog back here, and we want to draw a line down the center of the foot so that when we use our protractor, we can line it up with that line and get straight. So I'm going to come from here, and I'm going to go, let's see, that's 1.5 inches. Actually, my frog has moved back. I can do 1.5 inches, and that has moved my toe back as well. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 1.5 inches because since my frog apex has moved back, that moves my toe back, and I keep it at 1.5 inches. Okay. This is where I'm saying that the white line, which is right here, okay, wants to move back to right there. That's going to take that little bit of dishing out of my wall and help my wall to grow down straight. Okay, now, right here, line these up, these lines here. This helps you make your toe square, which, I mean, it's not square, but that's a term used to mean I'm going to get the toe even on both sides, right there. Okay, now, come up right to here. I'm going to turn this around. Actually, what I'm going to do, I did this last time, I'm going to go, that's 2 inches. Wait a minute. 1.5 inches right here. Okay. Going to mark this. This is where I'm going to draw my line for my heel. Just, I'm kind of experimenting with this right now. Okay, because if I come back here, guess what? That's about another 1.5 inches. See there? Okay, because my heels are run forward. See? So I'm wanting all this to come back. All right, so ultimately everything's going to move back into here. Wait a minute. Let me see if I did that right. Measure twice. No, I measured that at 2 inches. Never mind. Good. That's why I say measure twice. My line should be there. Okay? I made it 2 inches instead of... okay. Okay, so here's my toe. Here's toe quarters. Here's the quarters. Here's the heels. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I think, instead of taking the pillars back to the white line and leaving the rest, I'm just going to do a regular trim on this. My whole foot has moved. I mean, I was seeing signs of this, but didn't really understand it. Okay, so now we're just going to retrim according to where the foot has moved to by the apex of the frog. Okay, now what you want to do is about a 45-degree angle. You want to come straight back across the whole toe. Now I'm coming through the white line there. See it? My white line is moving back. I'm going to go right back to my line. you go. See how I came right back to my line there? That's where the white line will ultimately move back to.
Okay, I want to explain something. You see that little bit of red in the toe there? Okay, that is from any time your dorsal wall is not fully 100% tightly connected in the lamina all the way down. There's going to be some internal stretching of the lamina and bleeding, which will leach down through the white line and into the bottom of it like that. I'm not close to the sulcorium. I'm not close to blood or anything like that. And what you're going to find is sometimes you'll see it like that, and you take a few swipes with the rasp, and it's totally gone. So I just want you to know that just because you run into something like that in the white line does not mean you're close to drawing blood on your horse. It's from further up, and gravity, and the foot is so porous, it just leaches down through the white line and pools at the bottom. Okay, I just wanted you to know that.
Okay, we're going to keep that like that for now. Make sure I got it clear over here. Okay, now, flat. Just going to take this down flat for now. Just right to the sole. Now we're going to take this side down.
Okay, now here I did feel like I took off too much sole when I rasped this down. I could have handled this a little bit different way and stuff. And he was probably not sore, but he was off and tender-footed for about 2 or 3 days. So, I didn't need to take all that I took there, and I'm not doing that anymore. So I explained that to you in the first part of the class.
There. Now see how I have an even deal of sole, but I've got some sole. You may not want, you may just go down to the barely the level of the sole. Again, this is foot in progress. It used to be out here, out like this. Okay? Okay, now we're going to come over to the quarter. You got to realize that the whole foot has moved about 1/4 of an inch. So we are trimming back to that 1/4 of an inch that it has moved. Okay, now we come down to the white line. At a 45-degree angle, into the white line. See how my white line went clear? Again, 45-degree angle, back to the white line, flat, down to the level of the sole. 45-degree angle, back to the white line. Just a minute. Okay, and when we do the heels, we do them flat, like this. Again, they're at 2 inches, they haven't grown. There. And you can leave wall here above the sole, especially when you're growing heels, because you want this wall to be weighted and push up like this. Okay, there's what I have so far. Okay, now I'm going to take some pictures of that and then come back and I'll show you how to finish off the wall. Okay, so if you understand the true foot, then you can start determining where your foot is at, as in regards as growing and traveling towards that goal. Now, something about him is his heels are exactly 2 inches, and they are actually have sole in the heel here. That's what you want. You want from the hairline here to here, 1 3/4 inches to 2 inches with full sole filling the heel. For a long time, what you'll have is you'll have hoof wall here that's up above the sole, and the hoof wall is growing up this way and filling in back this way. You'll see, it'll seem like your heels aren't growing, but the hoof wall is being replaced from what has been trimmed out of it. Okay, so my heels, you know, in the mapping I just did, I didn't do the heels because I didn't plan on trimming them at all. But you got to go right up under the hairs here, draw a line straight down like this, right to where, not to where the hairs like are over the skin here, but right up under there where they just start, where the hair follicle starts its growth. Okay, and you come up under there like so, and then you, oh wow, 2 inches. I could even take that down right there. Let me redo that. The whole foot has moved just in a few days. Huh. Interesting. Okay, let's do this one. Ho, ho, ho.
Remember, just 4 days ago, I trimmed him right down
Okay,
to 2
so
inches. So he gained 1/4 of an inch somehow.
Come down, draw the line down, straight down to where the hairs go up, right there. And then I just bring my ruler just right to where the hairs start, right there. And I roll it up right there. Wow. I can't believe how much this foot has changed in 4 days. It's blowing me away. Wow. Just a minute. Let me do this again. Right up there to where the little hairs start. I'm going to roll it right to here. Quick, don't move. Don't move. Wow. My heels have changed a lot. It's like the whole foot moved back and filled in. So I could actually take my heels down about 1/4 of an inch. Everything has moved 1/4 of an inch. The frog apex has moved back 1/4 of an inch. The white line at the toe has moved back 1/4 of an inch. And my heels have changed 1/4 of an inch. Now, I want you to see something here. Just a second. I'm amazed. Okay. Give me your foot. Now you see the bulb skin right here should be no wider than your finger. And I want you to see the difference between periopal skin here and frog skin. See, it's been wet here, right? This is usually gray. Okay, but when it's wet, it'll get whitish right here. And you can tell the difference between frog skin will never get white, but periopal skin will turn whitish a lot of times, right in here. Now this should be no wider than my thumb, okay, or the, right here. Okay, you see how this, the periopal, you can see right.
Okay, I want to talk to you about this for a minute. Just a minute here. Okay, you know how you can see this outline of on this. This is actually where the coronary band groove is, and the periopal. You'll see it's thickest from right here at the hairline to right there, right? But then a lot of times, what you'll see back here is it starts to get wider as the heels are trimmed out. This stretches in the very back and gets wider, and this periopal skin back here can really stretch really wide. And so what you're wanting to do when you restore the heels, that the heels start pushing the coronary band at the back up like this, and this will all start getting the same width all the way back through here. Now, let me go back just a little bit. Okay. Ultimately, what you don't want your horse landing on bulb skin. But how many of you during the wet season or at different times will find holes in your periopal skin here and see it torn and stuff? You know, when your heels are trimmed out and the horse is landing down here, he's landing on his bulbs because this whole frog has been pulled forward. You know, so what's happening here as this whole thing is, as this frog is coming back, and the frog stay is growing up into the foot and pulling the whole thing back here. This right here is frog skin. Right here from the frog band. Okay. This needs to be pulled all the way back up here so that your horse is, when he lands, the back of his foot is in the ground. It's landing on frog skin and not periopal skin that has been stretched and pulled down forward. See that? And so what happened here to this foot is finally the heels had grown enough and allowed enough frog to grow and enough of the frog stay to grow up in the foot, up between the bulbs, that it had pulled the whole frog back 1/4 of an inch. And so the whole foot shifted. Now, I don't know how the heels got longer exactly, what shifted in there to make those heels 1/4 of an inch longer in 4 days, because you saw me trim this horse in the previous trim right down to 2 inches, right? You know, and you saw me take the apex of the frog right down to where the apex of the frog was. But when I come back, 4 days, everything had shifted. See, I wasn't really going to even trim this foot. I was thinking about just trimming the pillars, you know, back to the white line and letting some of that come in and drop down. But I wound up doing this trim when I saw that everything had shifted 1/4 of an inch. That meant that my toe could come back. And like I said, I knew something was going on too, because I noticed that my nice straight dorsal wall was starting to get a dish in it, and that showed me that my toe could come back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let this play now. Okay.
This, you can't see. This periopal. Stupid camera. Give me that. This periopal will stretch to take up the place. God dang it. This periopal here will stretch when you trim the heels out and disguise and take up the place of the heel. Okay. All right. So that's interesting. But I might just leave my heels the way they are. They're about 2 1/8, 2 1/4 inches, but I think I'll leave them for now instead of taking some off, and let this push up just a little bit more and push this frog back. This whole frog here is coming back like so. Okay, now I'm gonna let his foot down for a second. I'm gonna show you how I finish off the rasping. And I also saw there how I didn't have to. Why do you have to keep moving over? I got a string there, so he'll quit going that way. But he's just got to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna show you how I finish off this wall. Okay, now you know that I've rasped the toe off here. Got me a handy dandy. Okay, now I'm just going to start going around the toe. Now I'm going to take off the hard pigmented tubules. Just a second. Usually I'll have full thickness of wall right here. But since I just trimmed a little 4 days ago, I don't quite, but there's still There's still this much. And see the water line there, the white? There's still that much. Okay. So what I do on there is I come straight back. I don't have a 45-degree angle. I come straight back on that one. And I want the same width of hoof wall here as I have here. See, just water line, no hard outer tubules. All the way around. Straight up and down. Now, this is, you'll figure it out. You'll see that you're taking part of this toe wall right here out as you go all the way around. Straight up and down. I'm blending all this in.
Again, notice that I'm still leaving a lot of good solid wall right next to the sole. You know, even where it's beveled to the white line, there's still a lot of good support
that
for
helps
the wall.
Take off the sharp edges. So again, now see what I do with my little handy dandy pony rasp. Okay, again, to finish off, I'm going to take my rasp straight up and down like this. I'm going to blend in this whole thing I just did here. Okay, now, including over here, you want to take off all sharp edges. Okay, now you're going to feel some sharp edges like this. Now the rest you finish by feel. Okay, I feel a sharp edge there. I'm just going to kind of round that off. Now it feels round. I feel a sharp edge here. I'm going to round that off.
See, I'm not taking a whole lot.
See, these little rasps are handy. Feel sharp edge here.
See, I'm really trying to leave as much of the strength of the wall
See, I can get right up under there
as possible while taking as much leverage
just
away,
rounding everything off a little bit, making it smooth, no sharp edges. I'll feel under here.
I personally feel that the little details make
Turn it around. See, not making it real thick or nothing, just taking off the sharp edges right here. Just barely a little bit in here. See, this helps blend all this in here. I'm feeling that. See, I'm gonna see right there. I feel a ledge. Sometimes you gotta get right up there. Now I feel that feels very smooth. Round that out. Right here, I feel kind of a little ledge right there. I'll blend all this in. Right here. Quit. just a little bit here. No sharp ledges. Now you're not taking off very much when you're doing this. You're not making some biggie heavy duty Mustang roll. You are just rounding off what I just did. See? So it's smooth. So everything feels smooth and rounded and kind of blended in. Okay. And then I'm pretty much done with that. Just kind of rolled and rounded lightly. And done. Okay, so we're just going to map this foot. Now, I trimmed this foot a couple weeks ago. I was able to take back the toe 1/4 of an inch. He was little, I wouldn't say he's sore, but he was a little tentative and a little bit off for a couple days as the whole foot adjusted. We do not want them sore. But the toe was telling me, look, it's time to come back. So, okay, so remember, you always want to just take down the tip of that apex of that frog and find your true apex. And where is that? That is where the frog and the sole meet. And sometimes they're really blended in together there. Okay, so I'm going to say right here. Okay, so I'm going to measure 1/2 inch. Look there, right to my white line. Well, first, mark the center and draw your line down the center. I kind of missed the center there. Wait a minute. Okay, now we're going to come up to where my mark was. Right here. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line right across my toe. Now, 2 weeks ago, this was fully beveled to the white line right there. Now I'm going to come back. Now you're lining these up here with this line and this line here. See there? So that you can get square or straight across. Okay, now right here, 1.5 inches, which is right here. Okay, which brings us back. This is our heel area back here. Quit. Okay, so here I have the toe, the pillars, the quarter, and here's the heel. Now, the heel looks small because they're run forward, of course. They're going to come back more. Quit. Okay. All right. Now normally I would also clean up my frog. Now, I'm going to put a dot right here, and a dot right here, and I'm going to map my bar. There. Here. Here we go. I'm going to do this one over here again, just in case I got it. There we go. Okay, now we're going to let him put his foot down, then we're going to do the heels. Now, on this trim, all I'm wanting to do is take back the pillars, and then I'm going to wait another couple weeks before I do anything else. I know, because I noticed the growth, the pillars are very high, so I know, or I think anyway, that my pillars here are still needing to come in and back more, okay, to bring these quarters back. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take the pillars back to the white line and just kind of leave the rest of the foot. Except I might bring down the heels a bit. Okay, now you draw a line straight down and straight over here, right up to where the hairline goes up. Right here. I'm at 2 inches. I can take down that heel. That would be good. Okay, again, draw a line right up to where the hairline goes up. Put your under there, hold it there. Wow, the heels are really changing. That means they're coming back, I hope. Okay, come right up to where those hairs start to grow, right there. That's 2 inches right here. We're gonna measure twice, cut once. Let's see, what am I doing? Where am I at? I forgot to tell you. Baby, give me that foot. I always forget to do this. Okay, when you do this center line, continue the line just up over the end there. Now that might not be quite in the center because I think I got this over a little bit. Might be more there. Okay, even with protractor, hard to get totally perfectly centered. Okay, now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my rusty rasp. Come here. And I really don't want to take the heel down, the toe down too much, but I am going to take just a little bit of leverage off right there, all the way across. So there's no leverage on it. I'm not doing too steep a bevel there. But on these pillars, I want to take them all the way over, almost to the white line. Quit. Okay. Now, you know, usually we do the pillars flat, right? But I'm not this time. This time, I'm alternating. Okay, now the purpose of this is, I'm thinking my pillars need to come down and back a little, the wall, so I'm just giving those pillars room. Usually what I'll do is I will rasp them flat and I'll leave some wall next to the sole, some of the water line. Fella, why are you being such a booby? Okay, now I'm gonna come over here. Never ever come back or do this. Always watch where your line is. Lay your rasp flat on your heel and pay attention to where you have marked. Quit. See how I'm flat? Okay, I'm right there to my mark. Okay, now, again, I'm paying attention to my mark. Don't go like this. Don't take off your heel buttress. I'm trimming this part of the foot like this, and I am paying attention to my line. I can get right on this part of the wall from here to here. Again, this time I'm taking my quarter just down flat. Wow, this foot is just changing in such a beautiful way. You want to be able to rasp all of this except for the heel buttress right here. You want to be able to control the height of your heel buttress. Man, that's the best the foot has ever been since he was a colt. Okay, quick. Wow. Okay, now I'm gonna just take the bar a little bit now. Okay. Wow. Old habits are hard to break. Wow, that looks pretty good from up here, I'm telling you. Okay, give me your foot. Stand up. Okay, now let us just trim the bar over. So you want to get up in this little triangular area here. And then I always try and blend this in just a hair. Try and get, eventually what you want is you want to be able to see the white line around that whole area there. See it? Okay, there we go. That looks pretty good. But I'm going to trim up the central sulcus a little.
Okay, let's see here. Where's everybody? Hello. You would like to see the dorsal wall now? I can show you pictures of the foot. Here. Let me go to infinity here. Go to pictures. Second here. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. This picture's crooked. Just a minute. Okay, now you saw my heels are run forward, but now look at the periopal here. How this is getting the same width. See, when you trim this heel up out here, this takes the place of it and it stretches down like that. You know, so you're looking for a uniform width of periopal here when you have a correct heel. Let's see how the sole and the toe changed. Remember when I first started several weeks before, I was getting that big chunk of sole in that toe. I really don't think that's supposed to be there. like that. I think that was from the toe still being a little long, you know. I think this should be more uniform, the way the sole ridge grows. And the bars, look how strong the bars got. They're kind of weaselly looking there, but now they're real solid and a lot stronger. See, and here's another thing you find. When this heel is trimmed further forward and the wall goes out, you'll have nice, kind of a nice sole platform here, but it'll be hollow on this side. I'm sure some of you have seen that on your horses, how the sole seems to be thicker on this side of the heel and hollow on this side. Okay, well, as this wall comes back in, as this heel comes back, it's going to straighten that sole out, and it'll start getting thicker like the sole you have over here. Okay, that's the other foot. See, I had a real problem with real wide asymmetrical hooves because of way long time ago trimming from the top, okay, and trimming the heels too low and trimming from the top where I took a lot of outer hoof wall off, and it weakened all the walls and made this side real asymmetrical and real pushed out like this. Now they're finally starting to come in. But this is the other foot. This is the one I had a video, I took a bunch of sole out of one side. So, but they're guess what? All 4 feet match. I mean, they're all the same. They all trim to the same measurement. But maybe now you see how on this foot, how, I tell you about, I can give you some measurements, but ultimately the horse will tell you when his foot needs to change or things need to be a little different. And these are just general measurements. His foot could wind up being shorter in the toe than that by a little bit, or a horse can be a little bigger. But I think as you do the trim and you start to learn the foot and the anatomy and what should be there and what shouldn't, that you'll be able to tweak this for that individual horse's foot. Okay, Barb is asking, Linda, when you say trimming from the top, do you mean thinning down the horn tubule wall, like some farriers do to make a foot fit the shoe they put on it? Yes, I do mean that, but I also mean it was a name brand trim that some gals came up with that I wound up on their site off of Pete. I'm not that computer literate, especially years ago. And when I first started, I got on Pete Ray. I was doing Gene Ovanik's trim. So then I wound up on Pete Ramey's site. And you know how they link into other people? Well, he had a link to this iron-free hoof site. These gals had developed this trim they called trimming from the top, where they put a foot. They didn't even trim from the bottom at all, hardly. They put the foot on the stand and they just rasped off about a third of the hoof wall on the bottom. And that's when I started researching, because I trimmed my horse into mechanical laminitis, and they trimmed a bunch of their horses into mechanical laminitis, and they started shoeing horses. Only they didn't use iron shoes because, iron-free hoof. They use composite shoes. So I guess that makes a difference. So that was actually a name brand trim. Okay. And I did some videos on it, warning about trimming from the top. But that's what led me into the research to finding out that what these farriers do is wrong. They call it dressing down the hoof. Oh, I see what you say. Yeah. When you remove the toe, then that frog starts to shrink back. This time, I had checked his feet 4 days. Well, no, what happened was I'd only done 1 foot. And then it rained, a bunch of stuff happened. And so I was going back to do the other foot was what happened. And I thought, well, I'll do a check on this foot and maybe I'll just take the pillars back like I'd been wanting to do. You know, take the pillars, leave the rest of the foot, take the pillars back to the white line. And, but then when I got to checking this foot, I see that it had shifted and done all these things in like 4 days. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna retrim it. You know, I think sometimes you miss opportunities with these feet. You know, I don't necessarily check them every 4 or 5 days. I mean, you know, I'm still out to lunch on how often you should do this and that. Okay, Jessica is asking me, Linda, could you explain why you bevel differently the pillars in the quarters? Yes, maybe I can find a picture on that to show you why. Second here. Okay, right here, in fact. Okay, I don't know. This isn't exactly the foot I was looking for. I've got a foot here that shows you how the quarter is totally worn on the sides. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find that foot. Ah, right here. Okay. Okay. See this wild hoof here? Look at the quarter. Okay. See, I marked it. It's totally dented in. The reason that I do that on the quarters is because from coming from Wyoming and growing up in Rawlins, Wyoming, around the Red Desert, and having worked a lot of cattle out there and ridden out there and seen the wild horses out there, plus all the ranch horses. Okay, the grass is very sparse. And so horses have to move constantly to get a bite of grass. And they do not move forward. They move from side to side. They are constantly rolling that foot. And so they wear the quarters more than just about anything else on their foot. That's why I started beveling the quarters like that. They wear the pillars the least. They wear the toe and the heels the most or more, and the quarters most of all, from rolling side to side, grazing and looking for every bite of grass. So that's why I do that. See there? See? You can see it there on that foot. That's pretty cool. And that is where you get a lot of distortion, is in your quarters that you don't even know you're getting. Because what happens is the wall grows down, hits the ground. Pretty soon it can't grow anymore. So then it's jamming upward. It jams up as high as it can go. And then when it can't jam up anymore, it pushes outward. And you get a flared wide foot. The foot should be almost straight up and down on the sides. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Jessica, did that help answer that question? Okay. You know, like I see what I mean. There is a reason for the way I'm beveling this wall. It didn't, and I didn't just come up with this all at once. It was little bits of information here and there. Okay. Pez asking, what about flattening out the pillars? Why the change? Flattening. Because they wear the pillars the least, and I wanted to leave the pillar to support the wall. And in Gene Ovanik's research, that is where you had your bearing points, was in the pillars, because they wear them the least, you know. But you have to alternate sometimes there, taking the pillars back so that they don't get jammed up. It's kind of an alternating game with a domestic horse. A wild horse, you know, they're wearing constantly. But we kind of, and when we're repairing and restoring the foot, we're trying to bring everything back together so we can kind of alternate that. I don't like to take, I wouldn't want to take the whole foot back around to the white line. I know in the toe that they have no leverage on this toe wall. You know, that is perfectly rounded there so that there is no leverage pulling right there. And the horse, you think about the way he moves. This area here is where he rolls over the least on his foot. Okay, so you can leave some wall here, and it's not going, unless you let it grow too long, it's not going to turn into a big, huge lever on that foot, because they don't turn over on the side of this foot that much right in that position. It's the toe and then the quarter, and of course, you know, they're rolling on that heel. Does that help explain that, Pam? Okay, let's see. Okay, cool. How does the frog line up with the coffin bone? Let's see. How could I show you that? Okay, the frog, your coffin bone ends right about here. Right here. This is cartilage back here. Your coffin bone ends about here. So the frog is right there in the back of the coffin bone, attached to it right here. Coffin bone. You got coffin bone here. Right there. Okay. Anything else for now? Oh, you're welcome. I don't know. I kind of look at the whole foot as weight sharing instead of weight bearing. Pam asked, are the pillars weight bearing like the heels? Not quite the same. You mean like the heel buttress right here? Because that heel buttress is definitely weight bearing. If anything's weight bearing, it's that thing right there, that pillar. You know, but I don't know. I don't think that they are in the same way. I think that's really weight bearing, but then everything is weight sharing. You know what I'm saying? Me, I haven't got a horse on the forum yet. I know. I joined the class and I didn't put up my work. So Bonnie asks, what measurement would you use for a young horse, tiny hooves? I don't know. I'm sorry. I haven't got that far. You know, I think on small horses and stuff, I just, you know, I have a kind of an idea of a balance in my head of what the anatomy is. And so I just try and reduce it in my mind on a small horse. But see, there are those of you who are doing small horses who are going to come up with measurements for stuff like that. So you have a yearling with a, Bonnie says she has a yearling with a toe flaring out. You can find the breakover. I'll have to cover that. See, we still have to cover dealing with distortions. You know, there's a way to look down the side of the foot and determine where your breakover should be. And then, you know, you'll get, so you can just look at the foot and balance it out, you know. Okay. Why don't you post some pictures of him? And I can do a markup for you showing how to, you see, I need to show you guys that, how to sight down from the ground on the side of the foot to find the breakover. Oh yeah, it'll be great for young horses. Oh, the cracks in the hoof buttress, you mean right in here? See, you can see the page still, right? Those little cracks you get right in there. Look, I have got no cracks now. Ha ha ha. I've had a crack here forever. That's all from distortion. You know, and when the bars grow up too far this way and are not imbalanced with the wall here. Huh. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm eating popcorn. Ah. Near the frog stay. Huh. I don't know. I'd have to see it. Yeah. Put a picture up. I'm going to go back this way. Okay, see, now I still have issues with him right here in the quarters. That outside, see that asymmetrical wall? How much wider it was on that side? Okay. Right now he's at 3 1/4 inches in his dorsal wall. That wild horse was, and this is a fresh trim, so that's really good. That means he's got a pretty good depth of sole there, because that wild horse I showed you a picture of was 3 1/2 inches. Well, it's probably from a structural thing. Did you post pictures of her on the forum? D Azure, what is your name? Well, I'm talking to no, because of the injury. Oh, okay. Deneen? Okay, Deneen. I'm going to try and remember that. Because the injury, your injury or her injury? Did you get an injury, Deneen? Oh, okay. Okay, she had an injury. Okay. You know, if you want to, you can post pictures of her too, because I think we've gone over enough things to where we can start going through people's horses. You know, like I'm thinking we can do maybe 4 or 5 horses per session. And I think, you know, well, we'll go through them. We'll talk about any distortions. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, when those hooves crack off like that. Yep. Okay. See, I'm 3 on the side there. Now, see, this crack here is finally going away. It would never go away, and it was always really wide down here. Yeah, underrun heel pressure. Yeah, that'll do it. Because that wall is growing, and then it grows into the other wall and cracks and breaks off. Okay, well, guys, I guess I'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you, Pam. Yeah, sorry about how things didn't work out on the first deal. Oh, you're welcome, Mickey. Shandy. Hey, it's going to be great because once you guys really get a foundation set, you're going to start seeing stuff and you're going to be able to show me stuff. See, this is an investment in you. I am investing this foundational knowledge in you so you can take and build upon it, because with all of your talents, all of your individuality, you're going to be able to see things that I don't see and come up with ideas, you know, that's going to contribute to the overall knowledge of this to make everything better for all of us. Okay, well, good night, everybody. Take care. God bless you. Have a great week. Oh, thank you, Deneen. Got to remember your name. Good night, Bonnie. Good night, Charlene. Paula, good night. Thank you. And we're back to infinity.